Hello there. Um, just thought of something over the weekend. It doesn't. You don't necessarily. You don't have to use it. It's just information for you. Um, and because I realized that I hadn't really talked about doing a staircase with 2 point perspective, whether that's inside or outside. And I've got one other thing that I thought of, which I'll show you in just a second. Um, if you want to do stairs, everything in 2 point, you're looking at a corner. So that's what's closest to us. And so all of these lines on this staircase right here. So it's the door would be here and it would be going off this direction. Um, but these lines, you just start off, to the right vanishing point, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical. And then you're just taking from there back to right underneath the top step there, right against the wall. And then when you have that part done, then you just take these lines and take them off to the left vanishing point, and then you're just repeating what you did over here. You're just repeating it on this side, which is right, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical to the right vanishing point, vertical. So it's exactly the same. And then on this other side, um, we're just going, we just flipped it over and we're doing everything to the left, vertical to the left, vertical to the left, vertical to the left, vertical to the left, and vertical, so forth. Okay. These lines here are just so, because you don't want your steps to be, short, long, like this. Some of them, like that. You want them to be, relatively even. And a good way to do that is to just kind of put a line there, give yourself an edge at whatever angle you want the stairs to be, and you just go back and forth. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you is, um, I'm kind of kicking myself for forgetting it, so I do apologize. Um, it is, um, in um, when you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you see telephone poles going off into the distance, um, those telephone poles get uh, shorter and as they go back into the distance, and they also get closer together. Um, and this will help you uh, do that. But it also can help you on things like in let's say, like if you did a shopping center and you wanted all the stores to be the same size, you can use this formula that I'm fixing to show you. Anything that you want side by side and you want them to be the same size. Uh, if you're inside, you could do things like cabinets if you want them all to be the same size. Um, and that is just, you simply start off with a vertical line, and this line could be up above the horizon, so it's taller than you. If you're kind of looking down on everything, keep it below the horizon. It doesn't matter. If you want fence posts to be all the same size and the same distance between them, you could do that. You could use this. It's the height of it doesn't really have anything to do with it. But from the bottom of that, um, I'm going to draw a line lightly because I'm going to erase it back to the vanishing point on the right side. I could also use this going to the left side. So you just pick one. If we're going along here with telephone poles and then we kind of turn a corner and go back this way, then I could use the same first pole here, the one in the corner, and like so. Okay, but anyway, so I've got my first pole, and I'm just going to go over here, and I am going to make my second pole. Now, keep in mind that the the poles, fence posts, whatever they are going to be the same. Even though they look like they're getting close together, they're starting off, they are the same distance. Just later on, it will look like it, as it goes back here, it'll look like they're getting closer together. Um, so if you start off with them real close to each other, then they're just going to get closer, and so you're going to end up doing like 16,000 telephone poles between here and there, and you don't want to do that. I assume. I know I wouldn't. So you want to keep that in mind. Um, and so I'm just going to move my second pole over here. It's going to be vertical, and it's going to be from this bottom line, and it's going to go up to this top line. Okay. That top line is going to make all of the telephone poles be the same height. This bottom line is actually going to make sure that they all look like they're in a straight line. All right, after I get pole number 1 and pole number 2, I need to find the middle. Now, if on your telephone pole, if you made it a nice even, 2 inches or 1 inch or whatever, and if you know what the halfway point is, good. That's easy for you then. But I did mine at 1 and almost 3/4. I'll just pretend like I can't divide that in half. Right. And so I'm just going to make an X. To find the middle of anything, we make the X. And so I'm going to draw a line from the top of number 1 to the bottom of number 2. And then I'm going to draw a line from the bottom of number 1 to the top of number 2. So anyway, that's the side of a house that you just drew there, same shape. And so now I'm going to draw a line from the middle of that X back to the vanishing point. Okay. Every pole that we draw from this point on, this line is going to dissect it at the middle. It will always be going through the middle. Okay. So this is the top of the pole, the middle of the pole, and the bottom of the pole. So if I say something like from the top of number 1 through the middle of number 2, draw a line, and where it hits that bottom line over here, that is the bottom of number 3 pole. Keep in mind, it has to go exactly through the middle. A lot of people just start drawing lines at weird angles and they mess that up. It's got to go through the middle. So from the top of number 1 through the middle of number 2, where it hits that bottom line, that is the bottom of number 3. And so then I'm going to draw a line from the top of number 2 through the middle of number 3, and that is going to be the bottom of pole number 4. Oh, there's glare showing on my paper. Sorry about that. Not sure I can do it. I am here. I'll do this way. I'm going to go back through here and I'm going to make these lines darker. The problem with that is I'm not getting them exactly where they were, but hopefully it'll give you an idea of what's going on. Okay, so this is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. And so we're just continuing to go from the top of 1 and went from the top of number 1 through the middle of number 2, and where it hit the bottom, that gave me the bottom of number 3. From the top of 2 through the middle of 3 gives me the bottom of 4. From the top of 3 through the middle of 4 gives me the bottom of 5. Now, what I want you to realize is that see how the poles are getting closer together? And then I would go in and I would erase all of this in here, and then I would just make my telephone lines. If I needed to make another one out here to the left, I don't have room, but if I did, I would just, repeat that from the bottom of 2 going backwards through the middle of 1 would give me the top of 0. Okay. Top of 4 through the middle of 5 gives me the bottom of 6. And there is a pattern going on, I can tell. Okay. And again, this could be used for a lot of different things. You just, if we were doing a sidewalk, we wanted all the cracks to be the same distance. You could go that direction. All right. All right. So if I think of anything else that I'm forgetting, I'll make another film. Okay. All right. Good luck. Stay healthy out there.